Kiyotaka Ayanokoji is the enigmatic protagonist of Classroom of the Elite, a student in Class D of Tokyo's advanced nurturing high school. On the surface he's quiet and modest, keeping to himself in the so-called dumping ground class for underachievers. In reality, however, he possesses unrivaled intelligence and incredible physical ability. Early on, Kiyotaka deliberately scored exactly 50 out of 100 on every entrance exam subject to avoid standing out. This low-key facade, an inconspicuous student with average grades, conceals his true gifts. As we will see, Ayanokoji's secret history and cold, calculating nature drive much of the story. Backstory and the White Room. Kiyotaka's past is shrouded in mystery. We learn that he was raised in a brutal secret program called the White Room, run by his own father. There he was trained from early childhood in academic and martial arts disciplines under extreme conditions. Even as a child, he maintained a completely stoic expression. His father once warned him that those who don't reveal their talents are fools. Through this ordeal, Kiyotaka became the lone survivor of his cohort. His upbringing taught him that people are merely tools, and that victory is all that matters. Fortunately for him, when the White Room was temporarily shut down, Kiyotaka seized a chance to flee. With the aid of his loyal butler Matsuo, he enrolled at Advanced Nurturing High, a place his father's influence cannot reach. He even manipulated the entrance exam to score perfectly average, exactly 50, in each subject, hiding in plain sight. In one scene, the anime shows young Kiyotaka entering school with that same blank expression. From that point on, he vied to live a normal school life, all while concealing the astonishing skills and training from his mysterious past. Personality and psychological profile. Ayanokoji is, above all, calm, calculating, and emotionally detached. He shows virtually no outward emotion, even in life-or-death situations, and has no problem referring to himself as a friend when needed. He deliberately downplays his talents. As one source notes, he deliberately keeps his grades average on purpose and tries to look like a normal teenager as much as possible. This humility and nonchalance mask his true nature. In fact, Kiyotaka has an uncanny ability to read people's emotions with pinpoint accuracy, letting him manipulate situations subtly. A fandom wiki sums it up well. Despite appearing lazy and apathetic, he is actually a highly intelligent individual, often pulling the strings behind the scenes. Underneath the mask, he tends to see people as tools, willing to sacrifice anyone to achieve his goal. In a private monologue, he even declares, "People are nothing but tools to me. I don't care what I have to do to win. I'm going to win. That's all that matters." To classmates, he often comes off as aloof or uncaring, speaking in a monotone and avoiding social attention. Yet this cold facade hides the fact that he sometimes does care about those few he considers important, though even then he acts in the background. Despite his pragmatism, Kiyotaka is shown keeping promises. He rescues Eri Sakura from a stalker, for example, and even displaying rare flashes of genuine emotion. Major moments and turning points, anime, manga/light novel. Across the story's many arcs, Kiyotaka quietly shapes events. In Year 1, he initially observes from the shadows but soon takes dramatic action. During the survival camp exam, he famously lets Class A and C think they've won only to ingeniously snatch victory for Class D. At a sports festival, he shockingly outpaces Class A's ace Manabu Horikita in a foot race, finishing narrowly behind him, which suddenly boosts his popularity. He even forms a small study circle around himself, nicknamed the Kiyotaka Ayanokoji Group in the novels, as classmates flock to his side. Crucially, he confronts Kakeru Ryuen, a powerful bully from Class C, in a furious one-on-one fight to defend Kei Karuizawa, which leaves Ryuen visibly shaken. In the final Year 1 exams, when a teacher tries to blackmail him into striving for Class A, Kiyotaka soon discovers neither his father nor the teacher truly holds power to expel him. He then gives up the game of advancing, choosing instead a simple school life. In Year 2, light novels and manga, the stakes rise even higher. A new acting director, Tsukishiro, an agent of the White Room, attempts to force Kiyotaka out of school. On the beach special exam, Tsukishiro and his ally attack Kiyotaka, provoking a brutal fight, only for Kiyotaka to demonstrate his martial arts mastery and defeat Tsukishiro. Elsewhere, he maneuvers through partner exams and unanimous vote tests, consistently outsmarting opponents. For example, he overcomes a scheme to frame a classmate, Ichino's, by steering suspicion back to the real culprit. He also extends an offer of alliance to Hanami Ichino's from Class B, admitting to her, "I am your ally," even though they barely know each other. In short, almost every significant conflict, from survival tests to class poll exams, sees Ayanokoji quietly pulling the strings so that Class D survives and advances. Each victory or confrontation with Ryuin, with Tsukishiro, etc., reveals another layer of his ability and resolve. Notable strategies and manipulations. Kiyotaka's genius shines in his schemes. He routinely exploits the school's complex rules to his advantage. As one summary notes, he tends to come up with ingenious and imaginative plans. For instance, purchasing old test answers from a senior by spending 15,000 points, all within the letter of the rules. He likewise uses the point system to bribe his teacher and save Ken Sudo from expulsion. During exams, he reads every opponent's intentions and adjusts in real time. In the survival test, he correctly predicted both Class A and Class CS strategies and deliberately misled them so Class D could slip by. After the sports festival race, he manipulated the rumor mill so that rival classes targeted each other instead of his own. Essentially, Kiyotaka is a master manipulator. He has a knack for turning opponents' plans against them. One light novel scene even has Suzune Horikita admit that, "Without you, Kiyotaka, our plan would have failed," illustrating how he often lays an unseen foundation for success. Wherever there is a rule or loophole, Kiyotaka finds it, and he will use it with cold precision to protect his friends or further his goals. Relationships with key characters. Despite his solitary demeanor, Kiyotaka builds meaningful bonds with several classmates, though always on his terms. Suzune Horikita, the cold-hearted classmate who becomes his closest ally, knows more about him than anyone. He helped protect her from her abusive brother and silently guided the class to pass tests that she couldn't manage alone. Kei Karuizawa is another friend-turned-romantic partner in the novels, whom he persistently defends, most famously by punching Ryuin's face to stop Ryuin from bullying her. Kiyotaka keeps his promise to Eri Sakura, a shy classmate, to come when she needs help, rescuing her from a stalker, as noted above. He also quietly aids Ken Sudo by supplying points so that Ken isn't expelled. With Hanami Ichino's of Class B, Kiyotaka quickly defends her honor, comforting her after cruel rumors spread, and eventually forms a strategic partnership, treating her as a trusted ally rather than a pawn. On the other hand, some relationships are adversarial. He is frequently at odds with Kakura Ryuin, the sadistic Class C leader. Their clash on the island and the beach cemented Ryuin as Kiyotaka's nemesis. His relationship with Arisu Sakayanaji, Class A's genius, is complex. They hold secret meetings and even hand out collaborating, such as meeting to share information, but he remains skeptical of her motives. Notably, during a secret meeting Arisu was holding, Kiyotaka caught her when a cane was kicked out from under her feet by Tsukishiro, saving her from falling. This act surprised Arisu and hinted at a grudging respect between them. Other friends/associates include classmates like Terahiko Yukimura and Tachibana Yagami, who come to trust Kiyotaka and rely on his help, and even student council members like Manabu Horikita, who grows to respect Kiyotaka's skill. In short, while Kiyotaka rarely shows warmth, he quietly becomes indispensable to the people he cares about, always one step behind the scenes supporting them. Character development over time. When the series begins, Kiyotaka is a social loner. He deliberately avoids forming friendships and tries to make himself as a normal teenager as much as possible. Over time, however, we see subtle growth. The sports festival race is a turning point. Afterward, he is amused to find himself suddenly popular in class, with even girls calling him by his first name and forming study circles around him. This forced him a bit out of his shell. He starts to speak up more often to manipulate outcomes and even shows slight emotions in certain private moments. By mid-story, Kiyotaka openly leads Class D strategies and takes pride in helping peers. His isolated worldview also softens marginally. For example, he defends others even when it hurts his own plans, comforting Ichinos after her tragedy, risking himself to save Kei. He recognizes that a few people mean enough to him that he refuses to toy with them. Crucially, by the end of year 1 he declares he will no longer try to advance, abandoning his bid for Class A, now that he sees no point in further struggle. In year 2, Kiyotaka seems even more at ease operating in the background. He assists Suzune and others but insists on maintaining his own secretive distance. In short, he evolves from a blank slate to a quiet guardian figure, still inscrutable, but more connected to those around him than he pretends. Themes and symbolism. Kiyotaka's story touches on themes of meritocracy, freedom, and identity. Early on he muses philosophically, are humans truly equal? Equality may be a false concept, but our inequality remains a difficult thing to accept. This reflects the rigid class system of the school and the world. Kiyotaka himself is living proof of meritocracy. His hidden genius sets him apart, yet he rejects that very idea when it comes to personal value. Symbolically, the motif of the white bird runs through his dialogue. In a light novel thought he remarks, "It's not like I have any hobbies or talents. I'm just a white bird flying free." The white bird suggests his desire for freedom above all, a counterpoint to the white room that raised him in captivity. His very name, Kiyotaka, pure, noble, implies he sees himself as unblemished by ordinary concerns. Another theme is friendship versus manipulation. Kiyotaka oscillates between treating people as tools and genuinely caring for them. We see the narrative testing whether his humanity will awaken. Finally, there's the contrast of appearance versus reality. Throughout the series, Ayanokoji embodies the idea that everyone wears a mask, and only by looking beyond it can one know the truth. Anime versus manga versus light novel. Kiyotaka's portrayal varies across the 3 media. In the anime, he is mostly depicted with an emotionless, poker-faced demeanor, rarely showing much except slight surprise. This version of Kiyotaka speaks very little and remains almost unreadable. The light novel adds nuance. It describes him with more subtle facial reactions, such as blushing or momentarily flustering, for example, when Kushida gets handsy with him. It also reveals his inner thoughts in detail, illustrating that he actually does feel deep things internally. The manga takes an even different tack. It often portrays Kiyotaka as surprisingly expressive and even extroverted, with exaggerated emotional reactions. He blushes, shouts, jokes, that are absent in the novel. In short, the anime plays him as a stoic mastermind, the novels give him hidden layers, and the manga presents a more humanized, almost amiable schoolboy persona. Story-wise, only the light novels contain the complete narrative. The anime, 2 seasons, covers part of year 1, while the manga catches up more slowly. Many pivotal scenes from later novels, such as year 2's cliffhangers, the city/unanimous vote exams, and the full White Room confrontation with Tsukishiro, remain exclusive to the novels. Conclusion, role and future trajectory. Kiyotaka Ayanokoji is the linchpin of Classroom of the Elite. He starts as a bystander, but over the story becomes the puppet master hero, moving in shadows to protect his friends and defy those who would control him. By the end of the 2nd year, he has rejected his father's expectations and chosen to live freely, stating he has no reason to advance to Class A and will simply continue life on his own terms. Even so, he remains an anti-heroic mastermind who finds pleasure in watching others, and even Suzune, grow stronger around him. What does the future hold? The novels hint that Kiyotaka's potential is limitless. He was designed to be the greatest in the world, but he himself seems content to let events play out for now. Wherever he ends up, one thing is certain. Ayanokoji will be at the center of it, quietly shaping the elite classroom from behind the curtain.